So you're just talking about giving the cots.
Yeah. Well, any rate, we moved into Manila and we're shelling Manila, and we finally drove the Japanese out of it. And we were up in the mountains as they fled Manila. We followed them, and we were shelling with artillery. And I got called out of my battery office and said, front to the colonel. By that time I was a captain, and he said, we've got a special assignment they've asked you to do. And he must have rated me pretty high, but he said, there's a transportation outfit made out of black soldiers that has revolted, and their commanding officer has had a nervous breakdown, and we want you to go straighten it out. And so I showed up, and they all thought I was going to come in with fixed bayonets. They found out a combat officer was coming to take over. And at any rate, I walked in, and all officers were lined up at the mess tent. And but I said, I'm not eating with you guys. And I took my mess kit, dumped it in the hot water, and went and sat down with some privates. And I asked them what was wrong, and they told me. And I said, in 24 hours, those problems will be straightened out. And I agreed with them. And the revolt ended in 24 hours after that.
Wow.
And what the thing was, the reason they revolted is they were about 20 miles from town. And, you know, you usually gave 2 or 3 people some leave to give them, and the commanding officer wouldn't give them a vehicle. And I said, if you'll have a vehicle, all you got to do is get a sergeant that'll go and be responsible for the vehicle. And so that ended, and they, after that, they put another commanding officer in charge and said, we've got a special assignment for you. We want you to go and arrest the head of the post office. That we are suspicious that he's been stealing from the government, because the Philippine currency was worth 5 cents, or half of what. In other words, the dime to them, their currency was half the value of the U.S. currency, and he'd been taking that half-cent difference and putting it in his pocket. And they gave me 2 soldiers with fixed bayonets. We went in he was the head man of the post office there. And I went in and I asked where he was, and they said he's in his room. And I went in there, and he was shacked up with a Filipino woman. And I arrested him, and we started counting stamps, and sure enough, he was court-martialed. And after that, they gave me command of a battalion of paratroopers. They had bringing paratroopers in for the invasion of Japan, and they didn't have an experienced combat officer, so they made me commanding officer. And fortunately, they dropped the bombs, and we didn't have to go. And I pulled some strings with some friends I had, because people started coming back to the United States after Japan surrendered. And I had a friend in our headquarters that said, I can get you on board a cargo security freighter and get you home a lot faster than anybody else. So I said, great. And I got on it in Manila, and we got in a typhoon, blew the rudder off. We ended up shipwrecked in Seiso, Japan, and there I was stuck. And so I didn't know what to do, so I commanded just went on a train with a Pullman and just took over a pulling berth and went to Yokohama, bought me a quart of whiskey, and the first six-trapper sergeant I saw, I handed him the whiskey and told him what my problem was. He said, "I'll have you on board going home tomorrow." And he did. And that's when I came home and was discharged from the Army. And after that, I met Martha and started dating her, and
Before we go on that, there's